Hello and welcome to the Decibel Boost Podcast, the official music podcast of the website Surreal Resolution. I'm your host Robert, and my aesthetic is Goku jamming out to Kung Fu fighting. And with me, I have...
I'm Alex, and I'm actually here tonight! Unbelievable!
And...
I'm walking, what the fuck is Kofifi? Fucking nigga, I don't know.
I think that's like the shorthand for like the latest light novel anime thing that's out, like, next season.
Sounds like it.
It's what happens when you have a stroke mid-tweet.
What kind of stroke? Maybe heat stroke? Because of global warming? Which, you know, probably wouldn't be an issue if you just decided to stay in the fucking Paris Climate Agreement.
But economy!
Economy don't mean shit if you're breathing fucking black smoke and toxic shit.
Yeah.
What the coal? Wait.
It's like the great George Carlin once said. Have you imagined what the planet's gonna be like in 50 years? It's gonna be a giant bowl of shit. A giant stinking flaming ball of gaseous shit. I'm telling you, he knew something we didn't.
Indeed, he did.
Pretty much.
So anyway, yeah, episode 37. And before we jump into the regular formalities, we actually have to, you know, reconfirm an announcement. By the time this goes up, you've more than likely already seen the latest news post from Surreal Resolution, which had a whole bunch of announcements and stuff about the podcast stuff, including a little new addition to Decibel Boost, the Decibel Boost monthly album roundup. Hooray! Yeah, in case you missed that news post, let's just run it down real quick. So, at the end of every month, or I guess more appropriately, the first week of the month after, we're going to have an extra little episode of the podcast where we actually go more in depth about the album releases from the previous month. So, for our first episode, we're targeting first week of July, let's say July 6th, and that's going to be covering albums from June and stuff. And, you know, just continue on like that until the end of time. Because, you know, we always just kind of, like, glaze over just the new album releases at the end and never go any more in depth than that. Unless it's, like, a review or something in text form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're going to have that to look forward to in a while from now. And, yeah, it's basically about it. As far as the other podcast stuff, I assume by now you've heard of... We're adding some fucking more weeaboo shit to the site. You can blame Alex for that.
Yep. It's my baby.
Yeah, a baby that probably should have been smothered in the crib. Dark humor.
That was terrible.
Ooh, oh no, I don't get it.
But, see, the joke is that anime was a mistake.
Yeah, so's your face.
Ha ha ha! If I had any self-respect, that would mean something.
Who among us does?
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those fun announcements, and just really looking forward to finally getting the albums, you know, roundup stuff for you. And there might be some other stuff down the pipeline. You'll get to see that next week. You know, assuming it doesn't get lost in the lurch of all the E3 chaos.
Yep, gonna be a busy weekend.
I swear to God, if they actually announce that Devil May Cry with that piece of shit original Dante, I'm gonna fucking punch a wall. But that we're getting ahead of ourselves. So anyway, let's so we missed you, Alex. How have things been going with you in the past week?
Oh my goodness gracious. I've been super-duper busy. Not only with work, in which I've had to work 8 straight days in a row.
Damn.
But I am also in the middle of getting all of my shit out of my bedroom because we're having new carpeting installed in our house. And that's taking up a lot of time and a lot of strength and a lot of energy.
Hey boy.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's why I've been kind of absent lately. I've just been dealing with the chaos of life.
And that is going to be the name of Alex's debut album.
Sure, why not?
Well, I mean, be honest, what else are you going to call it? Some pretentious term from, like, the glossary of a science dictionary?
Well, metanoia is, or something like that. Those are already taken by porcupine trees, so, yeah, probably.
Exactly. So, any other fun stories from the work week? Anything as memorable as having to deal with the drunk chick who was all like, I'm getting my lawyers involved.
No, they're gone. We just had humdrumness of just people coming in and out.
That seems manageable. So, Mark, what about you?
You already know. You already know. I ain't got shit.
Someday.
Yes, people. I have no interesting things happen in my life.
Well, to be fair, if
Sorry
there's
to bore
nothing
you.
exciting going on, that means you're making better life choices than I do. Because I have less than nothing.
Such as.
Well, I don't... Don't make me do this, man! Not here, not now!
In that case, never mind.
Whatever. Anyway, as for my week, work, just plowing through this Calculus 2 course I've been taking. Of course, I went to the movies this past weekend, and I saw one of the best superhero movies made in the past decade. And that was... Captain Underpants!
Hell.
I, reviewed it for the site, and, I feel like this movie is about, 10 years overdue. This really should have struck, 2007, while the books were still relevant. But, as far as, an adaptation of Captain Underpants, it's about as good as you could have expected it to be. The jokes are hectic as hell, there's a lot of really, weird, toilet humor, often quite literally. The animation, I'll admit, is really cool. It kind of reminds me of that Blue Sky Studios Peanuts movie, in that even though it's CG, it's actually stylized in a way that captures the aesthetic of the original. So props to that. We could use more stylization in CG animation. And then, of course, there was the Flip-O-Rama segment in the movie, which brought back a lot of memories of torn pages. Even then I was like, how did I tear this page? I didn't think I was doing it that hard.
Turn the page. Oh shit!
Oh, and for some reason Jordan Peele is in this movie. Yeah,
How about that?
For those who remember the books, in this movie he plays the fucking class snitch Melvin Sneedley.
Oh,
fucking bastard. But yeah, fun little movie. I thought it was decently entertaining. But that's really about it. If you want to read more, you can read it on Surreal Resolution. But I suppose now we should actually get into the meat of this episode, the new song discussions and the news. But first, the new songs. As always, there will be a playlist down in the description so you can follow along and, hear the songs for yourself, so you have more of a frame of reference for our commentary. And to start off, we're going to get the worst song we had this week out of the way first. And I guess it's appropriate that the song title is literally inadequate, because it's a perfect summation of the career of the band Rings of Saturn. Now, they are easily the most annoying band I could think of in metal. I know I say that Code Orange is really annoying, and they are, but they pale in comparison to fucking Rings of Saturn's general obnoxiousness. And I'm just gonna use this song as a reference point, so... it's your typical super technical death metal. There's a 40-second intro of, acoustic guitars and pianos, and then it gets into the oh-so-technical segments of the song, which completely lack any kind of punch, because the production is so weak, the low-end guitars are muddy as shit, the leads they're not razor-thin, they're paper-thin. You feel nothing. There's just... no attack or impact or anything. It's like getting hit with a wiffle ball bat, And just to go on a quick tangent, I don't care about the whole, halftime, Guitar Pro, all that recording. I don't care about any of those controversies, because I listen to plenty of music that you could argue is overproduced. I mean, I like Periphery, and you can make that argument for them. But here's the thing, though. Periphery sounds good. All you need to do is make this shit sound good. And Rings of Saturn just does not sound good. It's a fucking song, I swear.
So, I'm guessing you didn't like it.
No, I can't say I did.
Yeah. Well, on my end, since I'm more unfamiliar with all this kind of stuff, because I'm a simple guy with simple tastes, yeah, it was okay. Nothing too extraordinary or memorable or anything of that nature, so,
Well, you're making better life choices than I have.
So
So,
I've heard.
if by some chance you actually like this friggin' song, they got a new album coming out July 28th called Ultu Ula. Fun fact, July 28th, also the release date of The Emoji Movie.
Boo!
So basically, your entertainment choices that weekend are fucked. Well, I mean, Atomic Blonde is coming out that weekend. You could watch that, but unfortunately, your stupid little bratty kid cousin's gonna make you go watch The Emoji Movie in theaters July 28th. Anyway, moving on to a metal song that's actually enjoyable. The greatest weeaboo in the entire metal kingdom, Marty Friedman.
Hey!
Yes, Marty Friedman. He's got a new album coming out August 4th with the ever so predictable title of Wall of Sound. Because, you know, metal and whatnot. And we've got the first single, Self-Pollution. And I can't say I'm wholly familiar with Marty Friedman's solo stuff. I would in fact say this is my first time. Though I do know his work with Megadeth, so I think I have kind of a frame of reference of what to expect. And this song, it starts off pretty thrashy. Like, the riffs and sort of like the noodling, it hits pretty hard, and there's this kind of off-kilter drum and rhythm guitar accentuation to the main riff. Like, it hits and attacks at, like, these sort of off-kilter, odd intervals, which is kind of cool. And then, you know, in the middle, it segues to this more relaxed, sort of neoclassical bridge, before, you know, getting back into the last third of the song, which is, again, back to the heavy stuff. The heavy riffs, the heavy solos. It's just, this hits excellently hard, and is a masterful display of Marty's guitar talents.
Yeah, I would be one to say leaving Megadeth was the best thing that could ever happen to him, as was moving to Japan and teaching English via JoJo.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this really is my kind of shreddy metal put on display. A lot of great minor key passages in the middle of the song, a great F-sharp hook of a chord, because emotion. And then there's that last little section, in like the last 10 seconds, where it becomes, you know, super shred wankery, and it melts your face off!
Melted face! So yeah, I'm looking forward to August 4th. Now, taking a break from the metal for a bit, to move into some R&B, courtesy of SZA, who finally gave us a release date for Control.
This Friday.
Which is actually this Friday.
Yep.
You want to take over from here?
Yeah, I'll take over here. The song release, I mean, is called Broken Clocks. And I will say it does feature like some bit familiar territory ever before, only she talks about, making ends meet, trying to get that money from, doing all, from, working all day, all that shit, which, yeah, that's a relatable thing. And also another, like I said, she also, like being past loves that need to let go, like, yeah, I need to move on from my life, nigga. Please stop. Like, look, we can do better, you just move on. And it's an alright song. I say I think I might like the song more than the past two she released. I will say the instrumental is more synthy. It got more like these trap hi-hat skitters around the beat most of the time, and she is more breathy than usual, which I guess that's more of a commercial appeal, if that's what I'm getting from it.
Yeah, don't forget about that weird, backwards rewound vocal loop thing in the background.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah,
kind of a cool touch to the beat.
Yeah. This joint sounds good. The joint that sounds alright, and knowing that we finally get a release date for her, debut album, like, I should hope expect some, good things.
I know, finally.
Yeah, and it took the real to boost her up. Like, when I read, when I heard that, one away from Top Dog Twitter said, word from the verse, I was like, is that a fucking typo? I was like, oh, now I get it. Oh shit.
Ah. Everything is clear now. So yeah, let's segue back into the metal with yet another new song from Stone Sour's upcoming June 30th release, Hydrograd. This one with the rather odd-looking title of Taipei Person / Ala T. Just say that out loud to yourself a few times. That'll make sense. Yeah. Heck, they say it in lyrics, too, so. Now, I said the first two songs didn't do much for me just because of the usual radio hard rock stuff, and, you know, I'm not going to say I love this song, but I think I kind of like it a bit better, mainly because it is very 80s thrash. Like, the opening riff is straight up like a Death Angel, riff. And I'll admit the chorus of the song has a very, really awkward melody to it, which I haven't heard melodies that awkward since House of Gold and Bones Part 2.
Yeah, it's weird where it goes into like this major key pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just kind of like all over the place. It doesn't know if it wants to be intense or if it wants to be like a soaring melody. But and then there's the bridge, which has, again, the bridge section where there's also the solo. The riffs there very much feel in the vein of like Golden Age, Testament, or Anthrax. So if nothing else, at least there actually is some cool riffage going on here. And then of course that really cool double bass groove in like the last pre-chorus segment. I like it. I like it more than I like the other songs.
Mm-hmm. I would say this is probably the best quote-unquote promo single we've heard off this album. There are some definite 80s thrash grooves all over the place, and I like that. This is kind of a simpler kind of rock feel. They're going for it, and they're making the simplicity work on these songs. So, yeah, good on them.
Yeah, and it's basically about it. Unless we want to make any kind of like puns or jokes about the title of the song.
Yeah, I'm more type B than anything else.
Now, if only you could figure out how to spell that out in a vaguely amusing fashion.
I'll figure out some way.
Probably. Anyway, on to music that's way more interesting to me. So, I believe I mentioned a while back that I saw Periphery live, and they were touring with, the Contortionist as one of their opening acts. Well, as it turns out, the Contortionist have announced their latest album, Clairvoyant, due out September 15th, and have also premiered the first single, Reimagined. Now, the Contortionists have always been changing their style from album to album. Like, their first album had a very, striking balance of, atmospheric prog metal and some deathcore stuff. The second album chose to sort of lean slightly more into the deathcore. Album 3, Language, leaned more on the atmospheric elements, especially when they brought in Michael Lessard of Last Chance to Reason, whose vocals just amazingly suit that style. And this one, it takes a little getting used to when you first hear it because it's considerably more simple and streamlined in comparison to prior. Like, you can actually count the beat to this thing in your head and not lose track at all, even if you're a prog metal plebeian. And there's this simple bass line. There's these very lush kind of atmospheric guitars and some, synths in there. Michael Lessard's vocals sound great in this style. And, it's a more somber, melancholic kind of song in comparison to past Contortionist. I'm not sure how this will fit into the overall grand scheme of things. Like, maybe this is just an outlier instead of a full indication of things to come, but it's certainly an interesting way to start off with this album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty good track. I was not expecting a grooving slow jam ballad with ambient vibes to it. I can dig it, but I'm gonna need to voyage through their backlog before they come into town with Between the Buried and Me in October.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And, speaking of prog, this literally just came to mind. You know what this song kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of that one single we talked about from Anathema a couple episodes ago.
Oh yeah.
I kind of got that vibe off it a bit. Except maybe not as majestic.
Right.
Yeah. But we have to wait until September 15th, or I guess closer to September, to find out. And now, let's get into the hype segment. 4 songs here that are just the hypest shit, for varying reasons. First off, we're talking about a song from a hip-hop producer named Zaytoven, which features verses from guys named Young L.A., the late Bankroll Fresh, and of course motherfucking Twista. Now, this song might be a big deal. Well, I mean, it is a big deal, because this is the first offering and marking the official return of one of our favorite yearly traditions, the 2017 Adult Swim Singles Program. It's back,
Hell
bitch!
Yes! Hell yes!
Now, we're gonna get into the rest of the, singles news, but for now, we'll just say this shit's gonna be going on for 52 weeks! An entire year of new music.
Jason DeMarco, you glorious bastard.
A whole year of this. This is glorious.
Yeah, so, Mark, you want to get started on our friends with this song?
Alright. I will with this song. This is definitely a banger. This is definitely a banger. I will say I do like, I haven't listened to much of Zaytoven stuff, but he does he does work with the piano. He is more of a pianist on that with the and it really sounds fucking dope as hell. I could definitely vibe with the vibing group with the beat. I will say I had trouble trying to know what the fuck they're saying, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to understand I know Twista verse was at the end, and I rest had Twista at the end of the verse, but I couldn't tell which one was Young LA or Bankroll Fresh. And maybe I'm guessing Young LA was the first one, or was it Bankroll Fresh? I mean, I haven't heard much of these artists, and I did know that Bankroll Fresh did passed away last year from which, yeah, damn. But I will say this, I got some clues, I guess, run the trap game, I guess, drug game or money, I got some of that out of it. But walking this on the like I said, the sound's banging. I will say this is not a song you should probably look for lyrics, because
Yeah.
I try to search for lyrics, I can't find. I can't find a lyric sheet for this. I don't think even Genius even got this shit.
Yeah, they're too busy trying to play Damage Control for Lil Yachty, I think. Still. But yeah, I forgot to mention, the song is called Pose 2.
Yeah, Pose 2.
And if you're wondering, that means, supposed to. That's, because of the weird enunciation of, these, sort of mumbly, low-key trap rappers. And, yeah, obviously Twista's at the end. You literally can't miss it. I mean, you're gonna be spending all week trying to figure out how to karaoke to that shit, and then failing miserably. Man, that brings back such fond memories of back when Kanye gave a shit. Slow jam,
I'm just
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just here for the Twista verse, which is the best verse of the track. It's lightning fast fire. I love it. I want more.
Yes, that is very, very much true. So, yeah, we're glad to have the adult singles back. We're going to get into that closer to the news, because that's where we're going to have our big section for discussion. So, now, let's move on to the other song here, or one of the other songs here, Arcade Fire, absolute darlings of, the indie and alternative rock worlds. Obviously, there's been rumblings of a new album from them for about the past month or two, maybe even a little bit longer. And we now officially have confirmation of that via the first new single / title track from their upcoming July 28th release, Everything Now. Now, I can't say I'm wholly invested or familiar with Arcade Fire. I believe I may have heard 1 or 2 songs of them, and outside of that, the only work I know from any of the members is I know their guitarist has done some compositional work, or maybe it was their vocalist, but one of the members of the band has helped, write scores for movies like Where the Wild Things Are and Her. outside of that, I'm completely like blanking here. So I don't know where this fits into the grand scheme of their sound, but there's some interesting stuff going on here. You listen to the composition. There's kind of like it's kind of all over the place. There's a lot of like exotic world music digressions. These multi-layered vocals, these weird, disco kind of drum-ish thing, these soothing piano runs, and like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on just compositionally here. It's a very dynamic kind of song. Maybe at times it gets a little too busy, but, not too bad. I thought it was somewhat interesting.
I'll be honest and say I really didn't feel a whole lot of this song, and here's why. I've only really liked one song of theirs, Intervention, off of Neon Bible, and this was before the whole ambient, folky, indie rock thing took off and became quote-unquote mainstream. So they were a little above the curve, before, bands like Bastille and Imagine Dragons sort of ruin it.
Yeah,
but this just, it doesn't do anything for me. I just feel nothing toward it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, maybe if I was more invested in Arcade Fire from closer to the beginning of their career, maybe, but, Who knows, maybe the album itself will, be good and whatnot. And now, moving on to Lorde. Yeah. We have yet another single from her upcoming release, Melodrama, which is coming out next Friday, June 16th. This was actually the album closer, apparently, Perfect Places. And the song, it's kind of this anthemic, but also very moody piece. Like, the choruses obviously are very, they're the kind of things that could get you, like, singing along with. But, you listen to the verses and all, it's, of course, very somber, lamenting not just the fallout of many bad relationships, but also, like, a lot of one-night stands. Like, she's kind of just always out enjoying herself when she can, and usually in the most, like, graceless kind of position, let's say. The song itself, again, if I'm seeing it as an album closer, I see it working pretty well. We'd actually have to hear the rest of the album, though, to hear how it fits into the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's like a closer track from what I hear. Well, yeah, and it sounds pretty good too. Just it's like, yeah, all right, like, yeah, this is, it's okay.
Short version. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I'll admit it's. I mean, I get its place in an album, but as far as like the singles, like in the context of what's been released so far, it doesn't have. It has nothing on that first single, which I don't know why Greenlight. I think that's what the name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as catchy, or like the chorus isn't as thunderously triumphant, but I guess if you're looking at this in the context of like, bad breakups and failed relationships, I guess it's not supposed to be all that triumphant. It's just kind of like a melancholic kind of thing, like you're not sure what to feel. But I guess it's just me, though. And now, for the final song of this week, one that I'm not sure people were wholly expecting to happen already, the return of the Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters.
They went away?
What?
You said the return. Like, they went away?
You don't remember? They were apparently like on a so-called hiatus, air quotes, and they hadn't really been doing much as far as like the past few years or so. Like, funny thing, I don't remember hearing much from them apart from like Dave Grohl breaking his leg, like between whenever the last album came out, which I actually don't remember when. I haven't heard that album, Sonic Highways, and now basically there's just kind of like this awkward blank spot in my mind of, where did they go? But yeah, we have a new single from the Foo Fighters called Run, and first off, can we say the video is fucking weird?
Yes, it is.
It's fucking old people, just like violently revolting.
Yeah. It's like Johnny Knoxville and Spike Jones in old suits, minus the dangling balls, of course.
And, giving cigarettes to kids.
Yeah. or lip syncing Boom Boom Pow.
That too. You know, I never did see Bad Grandpa.
Heard it was okay.
Yeah, so anyway, on to this new single, Run. The opening of it is this kind of light, almost kind of vaguely gospelish intro thing. You know, the light, soft guitars and the melodious singing. And then it gets into the main riff, which is on the harder hitting end of the Foo Fighters spectrum. In fact, what the riff and the drum beat reminds me most of is the song Assassin by Muse, except with much better vocals. Seriously, why can't we get Dave Grohl to sing for Muse? It seems like it'd be a much better fit for the kind of hard rock they try to pull off. I'm serious, like, the drum beat is basically, like, exact. And then, you know, the rest of the song is your typical, you know, anthemic, radio-friendly hard rock. It's, you know, a fun tune. I've always had a soft spot for the Foo Fighters. Heck, they were the first concert I ever went to way back in middle school.
As for me, I'm really just a fan of a couple of their songs, like, you know, Everlong, Pretender, and Walk. This might make it onto that list, because this does get pretty hard for Foo Fighters territory. And that intro, it kind of fakes you out. It makes you think it's going to go into that direction, but then, bam! Right into the hard, heavy riffs. So, yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's probably the best part. And I think it always kind of plays in the video itself, where, like, you see these old people, like the Foo Fighters in old man makeup, and it looks like they're just gonna, you know, be, you know, light, but then it gets into the chaos, and all the old people just start going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
To some very... We see what you did there, fighters. Now, if you could just go, fight some foos! That's a Robot Chicken reference.
Right.
Okie dokie.
What, you people are not entertained?
I didn't say that.
I see you, Mark.
Yeah, no, I'm in your house, remember?
Dude, again, why?
Because you have beer.
Dude, that beer is, like, old as fuck at this point. But anyway, we're rambling at this point, so I don't know if this is going to be part of a new album, or if there's an album announcement soon. I kind of think there is, which will probably give me some time to actually finally check out Sonic Highways, even though I heard it wasn't that great. Yeah, that basically covers all the new song discussion for this week. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and when we get back, the news. So, see ya.
Zaytoven.
And we are back from the break. Now, our first news story, it features one of the greatest men who ever lived. Bill Murray! Yes, the classic comedic actor who we've all seen and probably liked in more than a handful of movies, including that time he got fucking murdered in Zombieland. That was fucking brutal.
My regret is doing Garfield.
How did you think that was an actual Coen Brothers movie, dude? What the fuck?
We do not talk about that.
Well, to be fair, he was the one good thing in that movie. At least he tried. But it appears the longtime actor is now getting into the music game. He has announced his debut album, titled New Worlds, which is due out September. I don't think there's a hard date set yet for it. But yeah, this is a project. He's singing on it, obviously. He's accompanied by, you know, a cellist, violins, pianos. So this is probably going to be one of those very orchestraic, you know, big band kind of things. Heck, you look at the track list. It's a bunch of, you know, excerpts from, like, classic novels, literature, and orchestral compositions. It name drops people like George Gershwin and Walt Whitman, Johann Sebastian Bach, friggin' Leonard Bernstein, West Side Story, and yeah, this sounds like Bill Murray, alright.
Yep.
Now all we need to know is there a random Wes Anderson cameo?
I'm sure there will be.
Would it be a Wu-Tang cameo?
No.
I don't get it. But, yeah, that's going to be interesting, certainly. Now, moving on to the next story. Have I mentioned that you should all watch Baby Driver when it comes out?
Maybe once.
It's
You
so
did.
good.
I know one of my friends seeing it right now, and I'm fucking jealous. He met Edgar Wright, the bastard.
Wait, what the fuck?
He posted met Edgar Wright. He's in Canada.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill your friend. Just kidding, Mark's friend. I wish you no ill harm. I'm just incredibly jealous. I love Edgar Wright. But yeah, the movie is due out pretty much by the end of this month, and we reviewed a song from the soundtrack, and now we have the full soundtrack listing from top to bottom. So now, when I eventually do the review for the site, so look forward to that sometime soon, I can actually, pin the songs to lyrics I was taking notes of. So, we're going to run through this as quickly as we can. Starting from the top, we have Bell Bottoms by John Spencer Blues Explosion, Harlem Shuffle by Bob and Earl, Egyptian Reggae by Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, Smokey Joe's Lala by Gucci Renee, Let's Go Away for the While by the Beach Boys, B.A.B.Y. by Carla Thomas, Cashmere by Cashmere Stage Band, Unsquare Dance by Dave Brubeck. That's a name that takes me back to my high school days in the jazz band. Neat 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 by The Damned, which, if I recall correctly, was from one of the major action sequences. Easy by the Commodores, Deborah by T-Rex, Deborah by Beck, Bongolia by the Incredible Bongo Band, Baby Let Me Take You, parentheses, in My Arms by the Detroit Emeralds, Early in the Morning by Alexis Corner, The Edge by Dave McCallum, Nowhere to Run by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, the Button Down Brass classic,
Tequila.
Yeah, when you hear tequila isn't one of the best parts of the movie.
When I hear, I think of Pee-wee. So
Clearly,
whatever.
Have
Have you not
trust me.
seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Oh, you're gonna love how it's used in Baby Driver. Trust me. When Something Is Wrong with My Baby by Sam and Dave, Every Little Bit Hurts by Brenda Holloway, Intermission by Blur, Hocus Pocus by, Focus.
Focus.
Radar Love by Golden Earring, Never Never Gonna Give You Up by Barry White. Oh yeah. No How by Young MC, Brighton Rock by Queen. I can tell you the exact moment that song shows up, but that would be a spoiler. Easy by Sky Ferreira, Baby Driver by Simon and Garfunkel, Was He Slow by Kid Koala, and finally, Chase Me by Danger Mouse featuring Run the Jewels and Big Boy. So
What a soundtrack.
I'm just gonna say,
Man,
screw
damn,
Guardians
well,
2, this
I'll
is the
try.
best soundtrack of 2017. Like, this isn't even a contest. And apologies to any Guardians fans I may have offended with that. Actually, no, I don't apologize. Think about it. Did Guardians have Tequila and Big Boy? I don't think so. But yeah, obviously you can pick that up the week of the movie's release. So you're going to be spending a lot of money that weekend for movie tickets. At least 2, because you're going to see it twice, because it's just that good. And soundtrack, clearly. Anyway, moving on to a quick update on one of the bigger stories from last week. The official announcement of Brendan Small's upcoming album, Galaktikon II, Become the Storm.
Yeah!
So sad we couldn't have Alex Sly for that, because it would have been so great to play off the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So, you want to take things over from here?
Sure. I will gladly take these over from here. Short version. Galaktikon II is coming out on August 25th. There are 11 songs. It's going to be through Megaforce Records, which, that's actually pretty cool. And I can tell you right now, 2 songs are available if you either pre-order the album or you have Apple Music like I do. My Name is Murder and Nightmare. The first one is more Death Clock. The second one is more Brenton Small, so you can figure that out. This has a lot of promise to it. I know it's going to deliver. It has to.
Yeah, I mean, how can it not? It's Brendan fucking Small.
Yeah. He's got Gene Hoglan. He's got Brian Beller. He's got this album on vinyl coming out, which I already ordered.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. And I'm assuming you also entered the fan contest.
Well, of course. I want a test pressing.
Yeah, if you follow the band on any social media outlets and, post about the album, presumably on Twitter or Instagram or something with the hashtag Galaktikon II, you'll be entered to win a test pressing of the album on vinyl. The winners will be announced June 30th, so get to it, kids.
Yes, but don't win it, because I want to win it.
Yes, we need something that'll raise Alex's, hope for life, because this next story certainly isn't.
Oh.
Huh.
There went my mood.
Last year, we saw the inauguration of a touring festival called the Make America Rock Again Tour. And that featured bands such as Trapped, Saliva, Crazy Town, and Alien Ant Farm, if you want to know the caliber of the rock that's on display here. Bands that were relevant when you were in grade school. Or at least when I was.
God.
This year... Okay, so there's just... The big one is Scott Stapp from Creed. So not even all of Creed, just Scott himself. I assume they got him out of the house after some paranoid delusional ramblings.
Right.
And other bands that are joining in on this tour include Sick Puppies, Drowning Pool, Trapped, once again, and some band called Adelita Sway, which I feel like I've heard about before, but I couldn't pin it down.
These guys are kind of a one-hit wonder of the metal scene. They had one big song back in 2008, because I know this. This was a song that WWE used for the revival of their Superstars show back when they first started back on TV. Since then, I have heard nothing about these guys.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's just... This is baffling in the sense of who would want to see this? Then I look at the tour dates. These are like 500-seat venues.
Wait, for real?
These do not strike out to me as super grand, big concert halls. Like, you have The Rave in Milwaukee, and The Bottle and Cork in Dewey Beach, Delaware, and the Crown Complex in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And let's not forget some place called Buffalo Chip in Sturgis, South Dakota.
Wait, I didn't even know they had concert venues in, where'd you say, fucking Delaware?
Yeah.
Well, at least that one doesn't have Drowning Pool. But yeah, why would anyone want to go to this? Especially with that terrible branding.
I don't know. I mean, unless people just have, deaf ears or their musical tastes are locked into the late 90s, early 2000s, and for some reason that one period in the late 2000s where every active rock band sang about sex. I don't know. This is baffling.
And here's the confusing thing. Okay, so you call your tour Make America Rock Again, but you put on a bunch of bands that have never rocked. Scott Stapp alone. Let me invoke the words of one of the wisest men who ever lived. And I really wish Joey was here because he could help me out with this. You're not making Christianity better. You're just making rock and roll worse. Yeah, I don't agree, Hank Hill.
You have a band full of one-hit wonders. Drowning Pool, they're known for one song. Sick Puppies, maybe one song. Trapped, definitely one song. Out of This Way, one song if anyone remembers it.
Oh, and don't forget the fact that Trapt is also famous because their lead singer is a freebooting asshole.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
Named Christopher Brown, need I remind you?
We do not forget.
Yeah, that's right. In case you'd ever realized, Trapt is fronted by a man named Chris Brown.
What the?
God.
Okay.
Okay.
This explains so much to me.
Alright, before we move on, I want to make mention of one last thing on this. For the previous year, why did they have Crazy Town?
Hey,
they are a nothing band!
You said it, man.
They're the poor man's Linkin Park! And Linkin Park's the poor man's Linkin Park nowadays.
Hey, you said it yourself. They needed one-hit wonders. Why do you think they have Alien Ant Farm?
That's like bottom of the barrel one-hit wonderdom.
At least Alien Ant Farm's one hit kind of has a groove to it. Are you okay, Annie?
Yeah, that's true. That at least is a good one-hit wonder.
Are you okay, Annie? Where's Annie?
Where's Annie? Awards is kind of a big no-no.
Alex, you ruined my segue.
Well, I wasn't finished yet, was I?
You could have just shut up and let me go. So, yeah, failed segue. That was a Twin Peaks reference. Next story involves David Lynch. Has anyone been watching Twin Peaks among us? I actually don't know.
I know my boyfriend does, because he's a big Twin Peaks nerd.
I know some friends of mine watch that thing. Yeah, they do.
Sadly, I have not. And, but...
So, neither is anyone else. The ratings are any indication.
And to be fair, I was probably going to never make ratings like the old days to begin with, so... what can you do? So, yeah, good old Twin Peaks mastermind, David Lynch, has announced the lineup for his second annual Festival of Disruption, which takes place at the Ace Hotel Theater in Los Angeles from October 14th to 15th. Lined up musicians include a Justin Vernon solo set as Bon Iver, TV on the Radio, Sharon Von Etten, Laura Marling, Reggie Watts, and even Moby of all people amongst others. Several of Lynch's various collaborators will of course be at the event as well. Christine McKenna, Bill Pullman, Ed Ruscha, Dean Hurley, the longtime sound engineer for many of Lynch's shorts, which I wonder if that includes Eraserhead, because that movie has some excellent sound engineering and sound design. And of course, even Laura Palmer herself, Cheryl Lee, will be present at the event. I guess it's supposed to be fun for David Lynch fans. I mean, apparently there's going to be like a bunch of rare shorts and various other things, present as well. So if you're a hardcore Lynch fanboy, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't, then I guess it's understandable. His shit's weird from what I've seen. That's a damn fine cup of coffee. Hey, someone had to say it. Yeah, that was just a quick one. Now let's go into a festival announcement. Happening June 21st to the 25th in Pilton, UK, is of course the 2017 Glastonbury Music Festival. Which, what the heck does that name even mean? I've been meaning to ask that.
Heck if I know.
So now we have a full lineup to accentuate the preliminary lineup from March or so, and geez, dang, there's a lot of shit here.
Yeah, there is.
So just reading down from the list here, from the top, Radiohead, the Foo Fighters, Ed Sheeran, the XX, the National.
Boo!
Okay. Biffy Clyro, Katy Perry, Barry Gibb, Royal Blood, Stormzy, Major Lazer, Alt J, Lorde, Solange, Run the Jewels, Laura Marling, Woo! Phoenix, Liam Gallagher, Justice, Anderson .Paak and the Free Nationals, Haim, Father John Misty, The Flaming Lips, Warpaint, Bad Bad Not Good, Gold Frap, Wiley, Future Islands, Falsey, Charlie XCX, Thundercat, The Avalanches, Glass Animals, Sampha, DJ Shadow, London Grammar, Little Dragon, Kaiser Chiefs, Angel Olsen, The Lemon Twigs, Slaves, what else? shit. That's... Oh, Noisia. That's a name I recognize. Some you gamers out there might recognize him for contributing to the soundtrack of the one good Devil May Cry game. And that is, of course, the reboot.
Let's not go there. Although, you forgot to mention one very important name. Chris Christopherson.
Am I supposed to know who that is?
He wrote Me and Bobby McGee.
What?
He was whistling Blade in the Blade movies. There you go.
Please tell me you know what Me and Bobby McGee is.
Do I look like I would know what that is?
Oh my... You don't know who Janis Joplin is?
She the one that sang Isn't It Ironic?
I am gonna smack you in the face.
Do it, bitch!
And also, I see the Jacksons?
Yeah, that's...
Those Jacksons?
Maybe unrelated. Possibly. Unless they mean, like, are there any surviving Jacksons?
Maybe?
I think so. I mean, are they gonna do the hologram shit or something?
Oh,
No.
And let's not forget the ever so horrible human being, Liam Gallagher. He's gonna be there.
Yeah,
Although apparently his quote-unquote sad fuck brother Noel is not gonna be there. But, you know, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, we forgot. So that's the established lineup mixed into the updated tour poster. But other additions, as we mentioned, Liam Gallagher, yeah. Fatboy Slim, the Thurston Moore Group, the Dropkick Murphys, who are pretty fun live. The Pretenders, King Gizzard, and the Lizard Wizard. Who still have about another 4 albums they said they were going to come out with this year. Chop chop. Muramasa, Mickey Blanco, Sad 13, you know, Sadie Dupuis, the front woman of Speedy Ortiz. I think that's about it. Apparently there's other, like, unannounced and surprise guests. There's supposed to be, like, thousands playing across, like, 70 stages.
Damn.
Yeah, Glastonbury is always a big festival.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a hectic as hell, but I imagine a really fun and satisfying time for anyone that goes.
Yup.
So, have fun there without me, kids, because I'm broke as shit and can't afford to travel to the UK.
And I can't time travel or any of that shit.
Clearly. One last story for this week, and now...
Oh, yay.
We get to have some fun with the Adult Swim singles.
Oh, yeah!
Yay!
So, we mentioned 52 weeks, at least 52 songs. DeMarco promised minimum once a week. Now, there's some change-ups for this iteration, perhaps most notably the absence of actual downloads.
Yep.
Now, I remember last year he tweeted out that they were most likely going to be switching to a stream-only, service because the fees and stuff, weren't feasible considering how many people just streamed the song instead of downloading. But guys, like, free downloads. Like, if it's free there, why wouldn't you download it?
Yeah.
Oh well. Guess I have to use YouTube to MP3 then, don't I?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Isstream can't download anymore, but well, guess what?
And I do remember a throwaway line in an interview around the time of last year's singles program where he said that ideally he would love to have it be a year-round thing. So, hey, his dream came true.
Yeah, year-round of all the music we can enjoy.
So now, let's get into this lineup. And this is all in alphabetical order. So, starting at the top, we have an Atlanta-based R&B singer named Abra, whose debut album came out 2 years ago. An electronic artist, Anna Meredith, whose debut album was out last year. The return and second appearance of Big Freedia, who was last heard remixing Sia for the 2015 singles program.
Yeah, that's true.
We have an R&B and electronic artist named Bosco. Electronic music icon Brian Eno. Moving into one of the metal offerings from this year. Oh, god damn it, it's fucking Code Orange. Why?
Oh.
God damn it.
Can't win them all.
Anyway, Colin Stetson, a jazz artist who's collaborated with artists such as Arcade Fire, David Gilmour, and even Bad Bad Not Good.
Yep. Heard before. Yep. That's maybe one of the best songs of that album last year.
We, of course, have the third consecutive appearance of R&B singer Dawn. Always good to have you around. Alternative rock band Dinosaur Jr. will be contributing a track. And, of course, since the pattern of Doom's appearances, 1 year on, 1 year off, this is a year where Doom will be making an appearance, apparently featuring production from some guy named Jay Electronica, who I'm told is a big deal.
Whose album... Oh, wait, he never made an album.
Apparently not. But, Doom. It's always fun to see what he's got cooking.
Yep.
We have a punk rock act called the Downtown Boys. 3 albums out. Most recent was actually earlier this year. They are signees of Sub Pop Records, so... We have an electronic artist named Ducky, an underground hip-hop artist named Father. We, of course, have the requisite Flying Lotus appearance, and since last year was Captain Murphy, this year's just going to be...
Yeah.
Well, who knows what this year's going to be? He's probably going to have some weird collaboration thing in the pipeline. We have hip-hop artist named G. Perico, a synth rock / electronic artist who operates under the name Helado Negro, an experimental hip-hop artist named HXLT, and from what I can gather, they're using X in the same way that Knowledge does. We have electronic producer Jacques Green, hip-hop artist JIDK. The IDK stands for Ignorantly Delivering Knowledge. Making her second consecutive appearance of the program, footwear producer Jay Lynn. We have a song from hip-hop artist John Wayne, who I know DeMarco's been, tweeting about quite consistently for a good chunk of the year so far. An art pop artist named Julia Holter, who does, weird stuff and whatnot. She has 4 albums. Her most recent studio album was 2015, although she had a live album out in March this year. Julian Casablancas and The Voids. For those of you who may be unfamiliar, Julian Casablancas is the frontman of The Strokes. And this is one of his newer projects that he started in the past few years, so you have that to look forward to. Electronic artist Juliana Barwick, whose most recent album was out last year. Another electronic artist, Caitlin Aurelia Smith. Again, 5 albums most recently last year. Marking her 3rd consecutive appearance and 4th appearance overall, Kitty. Maybe we'll finally have some details on Miami Garden Club, please. Anyway, we have, again, appearing for the 2nd year in a row, Knowledge. Who knows what he's going to be cooking up.
Whoa.
Once again, a veteran of several Adult Swim compilations and whatnot, Lord Raja. Which reminds me, he had a new EP out recently. I gotta check that out. Now, this one's kind of a weird one, so you have to follow me here. Low End Theory. The name refers to an experimental music club night that happens at a club called the Airliner in downtown Los Angeles. The build artists that are billed under this name, at least for this song, are Daddy Kev, Nobody, D Styles, and the one name here that I actually am familiar with, the Gas Lamp Killer. He was one of the opening acts on the first leg of the Run the Jewels World Tour. Remember, I may have mentioned that in the podcast, he was the guy who did, weird mixes of, 8-bit Legend of Zelda, Death Grips, trap remixes of Slayer and Metallica.
Yeah, you did mention that.
A Texas-based hip-hop artist named Maxo Cream. 4 mixtapes, most recently being last year.
Say it!
You can't see it, but I'm dabbing in shame right now.
Say it!
Migos, okay? Migos are here.
Yeah, that's a thing that's happening.
So, bust out your, drop tops and your Uzis. You can, cook crack while having sex with someone's girlfriend or whatever. And
all your onomatopoeia because you can't have any open space.
Huh. An EDM producer, a DJ from Phoenix named Miha, pretty famous for her association with none other than Skrillex. And this is an interesting one, Moor Mother. Now, if you're not familiar with them, I checked out a couple of her songs, and the best way to describe her sound is take Shabazz Palaces, mix it with clipping and death grips, and you have a vague idea of what to expect. So if you're into like really moody,
Oh,
obnoxious, noisy,
shit.
like noise rap kind of shit, that's your jam right there. A Sacramento rapper named Neff the Pharaoh, 4 mixtapes so far. Most recent debut album, in fact, came out April 28th. Electronic music producer Nick Hook. A hip hop producer named hip hop artist from Washington named Odyssey. 11 albums since 2008. Most recent came out February 2017. Another metal offering, this time from doom metalers Pallbearer, who we've talked on this podcast before.
Yes, they're awesome.
Yeah, the released album was pretty good stuff. Y'all should check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we have the requisite Run the Jewels appearance this time around. This time, a solo track from Sadie Dupois. We know she was featured previously with the band Speedy Ortiz, but now it's just, Sad 13, if we're going to go with, the official naming. I'm probably pronouncing this name horribly wrong. Sevdaliza. She's an alternative R&B singer, originally from Iran. Debut album came out April this year. Of course, we have a new song from Shabazz Palace that's coming out. Making their second appearance on the singles program, stoner and sludge metal icon Sleep. Now, in case you forgot, their big comeback single was actually on the 2014 singles program, so who knows if this contribution will be a sign of when we're finally going to get that new Sleep album. Please, I need some more sleep, please. And I mean that in both senses of the word sleep. We have Sophie. Interesting, for those who forgot, Sophie was originally meant to be on the 2015 singles program, doing a remix of a Sia song, but Sophie had to drop out at the last minute, and that's how we ended up with Big Freedia. Now, up next, a hip-hop artist named Sparkmaster Tape, and I was reading the Wikipedia page on this artist. Apparently, Sparkmaster Tape is of extremely anonymous, unknown origin, although they apparently have like a cult following through the internet. Interestingly, they were supposed to be on the European leg of Run the Jewels World Tour, but had to drop out because reasons. Up next, we have Super Unison, a punk band, a female-fronted punk band, whose debut album came out last year, and they are signees of the label Death Wish, which has had quite a lot of, really cool punk and hardcore acts on it. Perhaps most notably, it is the homeland of Converge. Tanya Tagaq, throat singer, one of those really deep throat singer type persons who you might remember from the Noise compilation that came out back in December. The Jujus, a musical project fronted by trumpeter Nico Segal, formerly known as Chet Faker, I believe, who apparently, likes to, in addition to jazz stuff, also dabbles in some hip-hop work. Of course, our boy Thundercat, appearing once again for the third time. We have Tim Hecker, marking their third appearance on the compilation. Electronic music producer / IDM artist Venetian Snares. I like Venetian Snares, so that's probably going to be a really interesting track. Oh, man. Waka Flame.
Yeah!
I thought you were irrelevant. I thought your career died like 4 years ago.
We could have had him and Ric Flair in the White House instead.
No, we couldn't. I wouldn't want to Waka Flocka at the White House. No, fuck that. Making their second appearance, and first since 2011, I believe, electronic producer Washed Out. We actually discussed last week.
Oh, yeah.
We have a new single from doom metal outfit Witch Mountain, who were, of course, previously featured on the 2010 Metal Swim compilation. Their last studio album was out in 2014. Black metal act Wolves in the Throne Room, making their first appearance here. A a rapper from Atlanta named YFN Lucci, 2 mixtapes. Their debut EP, Long Live Nut, really, came out early April. A Brooklyn-based rapper named Your Old Droog, who released their most recent effort March 10th. We already mentioned Zaytoven, Young Law, Bankroll, Fresh, Twista. Zeal and Ardor, a solo black metal project. And I'm going to read this from the Wikipedia. I'm paraphrasing here a bit, but the artist behind this got the inspiration for this project when they asked a certain internet forum for advice on making music, and they were told to combine black metal with that word that Bill Maher said last week on television.
Oh.
And they got the idea to make music that was black metal combined with Negro spirituals. And I don't even think I have to tell you which forum this was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, black metal, Negro spiritual. What the?
Yeah.
That's gonna sound weird.
And last but not least, a synth pop singer from Phoenix named Zola Jesus. There is quite a hefty bit of offerings here.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Pretty big lineup. But you skipped over one, Rob, in the W's.
Where did I skip?
Waves.
Oh yeah, I forgot. They actually came out with their last... They did come out with an album this year. That's a bad of me to get around to. I forgot about... Oh, you know what I just realized? I think one of their albums is called Waves with 3 V's.
Sure.
But yeah, this is a pretty impressively stacked lineup. Obviously a lot of stuff I'm not familiar with. A lot of stuff that I already am familiar with. This is going to be pretty fun. I even ran just some quick numbers. Of all the artists featured here, 16 are, prior features. 7 metal songs, 15 electronic tracks, 22 hip-hop tracks, and then the rest is other.
Damn.
What can I say, man? Adultson loves their hip-hop. Ignore the sound of my phone dropping.
Yep.
So, obviously, this is gonna keep us busy for a while.
Pretty much. I don't think a best of list. I don't think we make a best of list by the end of. I guess when the answer's like either May of 2018. Would that be a weird way to start a best of list?
Yeah. We won't know until we get there, though, and this is gonna probably be a hefty amount of stuff to sit through. Who knows? There's so much here that even Alex might join us that time.
Yeah, maybe.
And again, we were promised minimum 1, so there might be some surprises. Maybe there'll be some more metal that we're not aware of. I mean, after all, I didn't see Mastodon here on this list. This is weird, right? No Mastodon announcement?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll show up, and much like their past 2 features, they'll give us a single that's better than the album that they released in that same year. Just saying. One last thing that we have to take care of, and that is the new album releases for the week of June 9th, 2017. Starting from the top, we have Anathema's latest efforts, The Optimist, for all you prog fans out there. The newest album from death metal stalwart Suffocation, Of the Darkest Light. Professional Genters Volumes come out with their latest effort, Different Animals. A band that you have not thought about since high school, or maybe middle school, Rise Against, are coming out with a new album called Wolves. Remember them, Alex? Remember? You remember?
Vaguely.
Of course, SZA's debut album, Control. The return of indie rockers Phoenix with their newest album, Ti Amo. The posthumous release, Chuck, from guitar icon Chuck Berry. And last, and definitely least, the newest album from Katy Perry, titled Witness.
Big fat who cares?
Okay.
Certainly we don't. Yeah, I'm not touching that one for the site. Fuck that.
Ew.
And that wraps up all the main business, so let's clean house and get the hell out of here. So, Alex, where can they find you on the internets?
Okay, let me just pull up notes and just scroll through. Okay, Aura of Azure, Twitter and Instagram, Azure_Aura on Twitch, whenever I'm on there, and, only places worth finding me. Woo!
Yeah. Mark, what about you?
Of course, my Twitter, Matt2HybridMedia, and my site, the Hyphen1 at thehyphen1.wordpress.com. I should make more stuff soon, cause hell, I ain't done much shit in a while.
Yeah, didn't you post a story recently, or an announcement for a story or something?
I did an announcement. Oh yeah, speaking of which, the Money Index arc, that's gonna be showing next month, July 7th, weekly. I'm gonna post every story, every part, the whole weekly shit.
Woo! As for me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RobBarracuda. You can email me if you have any questions about the podcast, or you want to tell me how much I suck for hating Rings of Saturn. Robert at surrealresolution.com. Subscribe to Decibel Boost on iTunes and Google Play. New episodes, audio only, come out every Wednesday. Video goes up every Friday on my YouTube channel, which you can find by searching Rob Barracuda or by searching Decibel Boost Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell tab so you're always notified whenever new episodes of the podcast go up. And of course, remember, first week of July, we'll have the first of the Decibel Boost monthly album roundups. So keep an eye out for that. Of course, this is the official music podcast of Surreal Resolution, which you can follow on Twitter at SurrealReso. Visit online at www.surrealresolution.com. And find the podcast on its own subdomain, decibelboost.surrealresolution.com. While you're there, be sure to listen to the archives of our past episodes, and check out our other great podcasting content. If you like gaming, check out The Training Stage, which is surely going to be busy with, E3 coming up next week. If you like movies, check out Salty Flicks, which I believe has recently posted some new episodes there. And as we may have mentioned earlier, starting June 10th, Alex, his own anime podcast ONA, for all the weeaboos out there. It's going to be a fun time.
It's finally happening. No going back now.
Hoo bubbly. Be sure to read a lot of our great written content. Currently, we have weekly write-ups of My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan Season 2. Of course, I recently did a review of Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. Like I said, it was fun. I liked it. Be sure to jump into the Discord chat if you ever have any dank memes to dank up with dankness and dank. And of course, shout out to the producer, Mr. E, for graciously letting me use his music for this podcast. Links to all his shit down in the description. Well, that'll about do it for episode 37 of the Decibel Boost podcast. So, until next time, tra-la-la! Also, Bertolt is the Colossal Titan.